And we're working more breaking news. Verdict watch has begun in the Marathon bombing's death penalty trial. The same jury that convicted Johar Tsarnaev of the deadly 2013 bombings and the murder of an MIT officer must now decide whether he lives or dies. Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pliner is live in Boston now with details on today's powerful closing arguments.
Shannon, good evening. One of the limitations of covering this trial is there are no cameras allowed in federal court, so we do our very best to convey some very powerful statements to all of you. And today certainly saw those closing arguments to remember a historic end to a historic trial, and the lingering decision, enormous in weight, is solely up to 12 people. There is a certain clarity that comes when you are close to death. That is how prosecutor Stephen Mellon began his appeal to jurors for death, the government's desired punishment for Johar Tsarnaev, who placed a pressure cooker bomb and left. Seeing those children did not deter him. He didn't care if he killed them, along with everyone else. Mellon returned to Tsarnaev's actions immediately after getting groceries. He bought a half-gallon of milk without shedding a tear. He acted like it was any other day. He was stress-free and remorse-free. He was an adult. He made an adult decision, and the damage will last forever. Now he has to face the consequences. Defense attorney Judy Clark told jurors to ignore Tamerlan is to ignore reality, and Johar's actions are beyond explanation. If you're looking to me for a simple and clean answer as to why this young man did what he did, I don't have it. It will haunt us for years to come. And Clark said, make no mistake about life in the ADX. He won't have a room with a view, and they know it. Let's get real. This isn't a club. It isn't a resort. This is the most rigid, punitive prison in America. Clark ended boldly. Johar Tsarnaev is not the worst of the worst, and that is what the death penalty is reserved for. And Judy Clark, before winding up her lengthy closing argument, she did so with this: we are asking you to choose life. Yes, even for the Boston Marathon bomber. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6, the government has one final bite at the apple in its rebuttal closing argument. We'll tell you what was said. Live in Boston with the mobile newsroom, I'm Jared Pliner, Eyewitness News.
Now we're on verdict watch in the Boston Marathon bombings trial. Johar Tsarnaev's fate now in the hands of the jury. Today, the defense wrapped up its case and made closing arguments. And new at 6, a look at the prosecution's rebuttal. Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pliner joins us now live outside federal court.
Shannon, good evening. At 5, we brought you the heart of closing arguments from both sides, prosecution and defense. But the government has afforded a final pitch after the defense pleads for mercy, and there was a particular focus. After defense attorney Judy Clark urged jurors to choose life for Boston Marathon bomber Johar Tsarnaev, the U.S. government had a final chance to tear down the defense case in rebuttal. Prosecutor Bill Weinreb wasted no time on the now familiar Tamerlan narrative. The bulk of the mitigation case comes down to his brother made him do it. It's not true. His brother did not make him do it. You need to sentence him for his actions. Weinreb attacked the defense contention that in the Chechen culture, it is an offense to turn one's back on a brother, reminding jurors the Tsarnaev brothers weren't born in Chechnya, never lived there, nor did their parents. They lived in Dagestan and Kazakhstan. Weinreb argued there were no accounts in this trial of Tamerlan's supposed influence over Johar, no bossing around, no superiority versus inferiority, no fear. Prosecutors accused Clark and her team of concocting the narrative. Where is the evidence of brainwashing, of mind control? You haven't heard it from the mouths of any witnesses. And jurors now have the case. They were not expected to stay long tonight because they got the case later in the day, but they will reassemble at 9 in the morning, and we will be here on Verdict Watch. Live in Boston with the mobile newsroom tonight, I'm Jared Pliner, Eyewitness News.